Hello and welcome to another day of game analysis. We're going to be doing a TA game here. This one was requested by austinll. Basically, we're going to watch the mid lane. Of course, obviously positioning and all that is going to be super important. The laning phase, the first 10-15 minutes. We'll see how things go, and then we'll kind of take it from there. And then just kind of see how this game goes. Now, mind you, generally speaking, most of the replays that I've analyzed have been with losing games because people want to know what they're doing wrong. They want to see how they can get back into the game, what they can do, the little, like, the intricacies of playing better, be it laning, mechanical skill, whatever it is. I'm trying to find everything, and we're happy to just learn together. And I think watching replays shows a lot about what the player does, the things that you might do a little bit better to just kind of improve yourself. So, the horn starts, and we're about to get underway, and this is going to be Revelfall, or austinll, known in other places, but doesn't care about no bounties. And of course, we're not going to watch the other lanes. We're going to see what this laning will be, probably against the Storm. Your lineup is looking to be a Ricky carry, and a Jakiro safe, and a tiny Slardar. I'm not sure which one's a 3 or 4, but we'll figure that one out. The body block was a little bit worse, hence Storm has a little bit of an advantage here. You're pulling it back, but you're not getting some... Okay, getting a couple good shots on. Good. You just need to kind of zone him out by using the melee strikes appropriately. Uses up a Tango. You should back up on this one, yeah. Okay, now, this is the moment where you needed to have drawn aggro right when they met, right? Make sure that there's some creeps on your ranged, because you're going to push it, so you want to... Oh, okay. You do have shield if you want to use it. This is a very tight... Okay. Not using the shield, but that was really not a good time to use the shield because of the fact that he had a couple creeps, and they're going to just kind of tear into that and get some extra shots in. So actually, the timing of that refraction shield was not great. You want to use it when you have a bunch of creeps, right? Or you get the most amount of value out of the refraction field with the amount of time that it's up. And yeah, you need to be careful. You get pulled on in. Okay, you got the refraction shield up just in time. You do have a fairy fire. If you want to use it, you got to use it. Yeah, super close. Okay, now what are you calling? Are you calling a salve or anything? Because you are super... This is a risky moment. Okay, now you call the salve. So it's a little bit late. I think that, to be honest, when you start the game, I would suggest, when you know what I mean, buy all your items or whatever. Obviously, you have 2 shared tangos. But you should have called that salve like minute 0, right? Right when the bounty runes happen, you have enough gold to get that salve up, because now you're kind of, now you have to play super risky. You get pulled on back. The high ground. Now you're dead. Oh, that lucky high ground. Oh my gosh, that missed chance. He had 2 chances. Oh, you were so lucky. Oh, and you bought 2 salves. Okay. All right, you got the Costco special. He's salving up as well, but he has a bottle. So in terms of last hits and everything. And again, this is why the mid lane is so very important, to make sure that you get the right amount of items and start off strong, because now you're getting pulled on through. You don't have a refraction shield. Oh, he's bottling it up. Oh gosh. Oh, this is why I don't play mid. It's, you're freaking me out every second. Okay. All right, Salva and the Tango. Sometimes it's okay to drop the Iron Branch and to get maximum value out of that. Obviously, you have it with the salve and everything, but, you know, I think that's usually why going Iron Branches is probably better, and I probably would have done that earlier when you had your shared tangos. Like the first one, you probably should have used the Iron Branch and to get the double value, so to speak. But, okay, 310. And one thing to note, and like I learned a lot of how to play TA mid through Waga Gaming, so big props to him. But basically, obviously, sorry, let me drink my coffee. But stacking, okay, now that's gonna screw you. Not killing that one guy. I'm gonna show you that. Hang on. Free cam here. I don't know. Okay, we can't see everything. Let me turn off fog. Oh, I can't. Okay, but you actually left the creep behind. Why? Because it's not gonna stack up, and now that's gonna slow you down moving forward. Actually, this is a bit of an issue because, okay, now you're gonna come back to get it. All right, now that's a little bit of a wasted movement, right? I think that you were a little surprised by that, just having that last creep there. But now the stack will happen. But basically, at this moment, you should have been in the lower camp. This one bottom here. And again, we're looking at your player perspective, so I can't move the cam right now because I kind of want to see how you're looking and moving your cam. Okay. Oh, do you? Okay, you go for the range. Perfect, which is the more value. You do miss a couple last hits there. And I'm being super... okay. Be careful of the refraction shield, and of course, you know what I mean? I think you're taking a little too much unnecessary creep damage from that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, now you have to salve up, but... Oh, you... Okay. You're gonna back on up.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Alright. What do you do now? What do you do now? Yeah, the creeps will die. Alright, 20 to 2, 26 and 5. But, okay. We're going to continue to farm, actually. I think that this is super important because as a mid player, understanding how you do this. Okay, now it's 5 minutes. Have your team is definitely not rotating. I don't know if you pinged out the fact that Storm was missing. Clearly he went for that rune. He's got a bottle, right? Oh, man. Oh, man. Every single time he pulls you back. I understand that you've got the shield, but, man, it freaks me out a little bit. Okay, you popping salves like they're Tic Tacs. And I don't know if that's the right way to go. Because I feel like in the beginning, if you were doing a little bit more damage, a little bit more zoning, he would have to respect you more. Oh, he's going for this. He zips on forward with the refraction shield. Oh, you're looking to turn this around. Oh, you want to go for me? I'm going to go for you. And you get him. Nice first blood there. Oh, no, not first blood. Third blood. I'm first blood in the lane. That's the only thing that really matters. Hey, good morning, Define Me. How are you? Okay, so a little bit... Okay, so now you're calling another salve, and I would look to... Okay, you keep going to this one, right? You saw Storm coming from that area. You should kind of have that instinct of, yeah, this has probably been farmed up already, right? Because what you could have done is, obviously, let's move things around. You got to start playing around more with this one. You got to bounce between the two. Oh, and a zip on forward. Yeah, you don't even matter. You're probably going to pick for this one. Yeah, that was... Okay, this is one of those moments where you're low... You know that the countdown's coming, and he's gonna TP right onto there. Yeah, he spent more. I think he's spent about 4 or 5 salves already. So that's ridiculous. Yeah, spending on consumables is not great. You know what I mean? Like 5 salves is like what? The price of a bottle, right? So you're getting something out of that. So you're definitely behind at this point, right? Like look at your itemization. You don't have boots right now. You got 2 Wraith Bands, which is fine. But Storm, he's got boots, he's got the Null Talisman, and he's got the regen. So he's going to happily farm your jungle. But obviously you need to deal with this, especially since it's under tower here. But yeah, to do the walk of shame. Okay, he's going to go on in. Fraction Shield is there. He's going to go, and you're going to turn this. You do get the last hit. Now just let him go. Oh, that trap is poor. I don't think that that adds any value. And yeah, you can place traps all over the place, but I suggest start putting in the runes, start getting it out in the spacing. Obviously, this is the one where, in case you get jumped, you kind of slow them down and look to turn that around like an ambush, but I think that it just value add. Right now, you're looking for vision. You want to know where this guy is at all time. I think that that's more important than just kind of playing things kind of defensively. Yeah, Storm had the sentry, thinking that you were going to go meld at some point. You do have it. But you're level 8, right? And so this is the moment where you need to start microing even when you're moving. You got to get your boots. You got to figure out, you know, what is the next item you're going to buy. But you call it out now because every second that it's not being delivered to you, you're wasting valuable time. Also, yeah, definitely a stick should be there. Just so you know, I think Define Me is an immortal player. But yeah, he's kind of just chiming in the comments. So he's helping me with this the commentary. But he's doing it by texting, and so I'm gonna just kind of facilitate the translation, I guess. The voice to chat. That's me. So, nonetheless, you're bouncing back between the two. I think that one thing to note is that maybe you want to start looking into stacking. Oh, you're looking to TP bottom. Let's see how this goes. He's got a DD. I don't know if you really have it. You got the trap in a nice spot. Oh, he's looking to turn this. Okay, why did he stop like that? I don't know. Oh, you can zip on out, and you're just out. Now, if you had the boots when you called it earlier, this might not have been an issue. Oh my gosh. Evasion. You had 2 strikes, you had a chance. But yeah. Okay, so now you've got your boots, and you've got your Blightstone. And you've got a lot of consumables, right? And I think you're wasting a ton. You're carrying a mango tree, okay? This is, again, there's stats involved in this, right? So place it where you think you're going to get some nice vision, and of course drop in some mangoes. That helps you with your mana, and you didn't need to buy that clarity, as you get free mangoes off of your mango tree, right? You have your pocket mango tree, so not sure why you're not using that. The refractive shield as well. Just the subs on this video. All right. Okay. So another thing is that you're not actually using the Blightstone, right? This is pretty massive, especially if you can get any sort of attacks off on the storm. And this is, mind you, this is what, 50 gold versus your 300? So, hey, buddy, you've got some good items. Start using them. Yeah, he sees the trap. Still not changing it. You're going to use... You've swapped your clarity in. All right, we should have a timer for when you actually put the Blightstone in. Because, like, again, if you're just going to trade right clicks and you got the Blightstone, you're going to do way more damage. So, you might as well... I mean, you bought it. You might as well get maximum value out of it. But it's 10 minutes now. So Storm has kind of been on point in terms of getting all of the runes, right? Meaning that he's probably got some sort of vision, or he's just incredibly lucky. But do you change it in? Okay, that took about 30-40 seconds or so. Have your team stack for you, right? Like, what is this guy doing? He's like not adding any value. He gave you the ironwood tree, and so he actually stole some XP from you when you're doing that. But I feel like your efficiency early has been suffering. Like, you're 51 and 7, which is not the worst thing, but I feel like you haven't been stacking enough. You haven't been kind of bouncing between these jungle camps, and of course letting the storm get it that one time, and him killing you, of course, that one time will actually slow you down. But you've got 1,000 gold. Are you going Desolator? Are you going Blink? What are you doing? And if you're looking at your team, I would probably think that the Ricky would probably be the initiator, right? He's probably going to get the jump. You need to kind of get in on there. So somebody's going to bring the damage. Someone probably needs the damage, right? So you're going what? What did you buy? Oh, you just went treads first? Okay. Yeah.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Okay. All right. So define me again. The backseat driver in this case is actually recommending that you go with Gloves of Haste first, because it obviously helps with your farming, which is, I totally see. You don't really need the boots to just kind of stick around in the mid lane, especially since the other creep camps are so close by. But here is the tower. You've gotten a good number of sentries, but you're wasting a lot of money just dewarding, and obviously you're looking to protect yourself long term, but do you even call missing? I don't even know. I don't think your team chat will show on a replay, but now this is the time with the storm missing. You got to make something happen. You either put pressure on, stack it, which you've missed, and it looks like you've done none of the above. So 12 minutes though. You can deny runes too. That's super important as well. Do you see this? I think that's super important for you. Look at you. You have so many choices. Look at you. You're like, what do I do? Do I pick up the neutral or do I get the DD? And you did not actually pick up the neutral. Holy crap. Really?
Radiant's bottom tower.
I mean, your supports are like, come on, guy. Like, that shovel is super important for me. Okay, but you've got DD now. Do you turn this into anything? Of course, you've got a shit ton of sentries. I think you've bought way too many. I kind of liken this to buying multiple condoms. Like, you don't need them all the time. I mean, you don't need this many in the backpack. You know what I mean? Like, in the event that it happens, all you need is kind of like one, right? And you don't need it in your backpack ready to go. You can put it in your inventory, so to speak. So again, like, even this one attribute from the Iron Branch, probably a little bit more value. But okay, you're gonna put a little bit of tower pressure here. And by the way, this is gonna freak me out because of the fact that you haven't picked up that shovel. But you're okay. It's 6-6, and you're down 2K. I think that we can start looking at net worth now. Yeah, Storm's a little bit more active. He's been in the bottom lane. He got a kill. He got into the top lane. He got a kill, and he's been happily farming. So this mid has been a bit of an issue for you. And it's funny because you started out stronger, right? You did get that kill. So it seems like he's been more efficient, right? So in terms of play, he's kind of taking advantage of that. And what you don't know is that Storm actually has the Orchid now. Oh, so now you found the neutral, but you can't pick it up. Okay, now you do. Good. Teleport back to base. That was close. Storm could have taken that at any moment. Now, so you've got treads and you've got 1,200 gold. I'm assuming you're going Desolator first. Oh, here comes the zip. The silence. And they do get you drifted back, and you silence for so long. And I mean, he was super patient in that one, right? But hang on, let me just see if the vision has shown that. Yeah, actually, just out of range. You did not see that. Okay, he orchid you from afar. Okay. So that's like a reaction thing. You might have been able to get your shield off. If you did that, completely nullifies his zip in. And of course, the Orchid obviously would silence you after, but it's so close, right? So yeah, this is a little bit of an issue. Storm definitely will start to snowball from here if you can get some good pickoffs. And it looks like he's going to get that Slaughter, who's easy picking. Orchid from afar. Now the zip in. Yeah, there we go. That's going to be a dead Slaughter. Okay. So, did you call missing? Even when you're dead, you still need to make calls out, right? Did you tell your Slaughter that, hey, your Storm is missing, and he probably should have backed off? I mean, yeah, he got fissured in the end, but there was definitely plenty of time to make that communication or that call out because he literally walked up that river. Okay, so now, yeah, you're going Desolator first. More farming, 15 minutes. I probably would not have just gone for this and probably... Okay, you're going to kill it before I do, so I was thinking maybe stack it, but you killed it in time. 15 minutes. Are you going to at least pick up the rune? You do. Good. You don't have any TPs, like a terrible core. What happens if a fight happens elsewhere? Okay. Alright, so more farming here. Alright. Okay. One thing that you haven't been doing is any sort of stacking. I think this will really help you because TA is such a good farmer in terms of just dealing with stacks. Probably you want to start looking at, like, you don't have to kill the stack. What you can do is just stack it and then just go back in and then maybe, you know what I mean? Like, you just need to bounce between these or have one of your supports really help you out. But you're kind of doing this all on your own. Again, I don't know if this is a pub game or whatnot, but it seems like it because nobody's really helping you. TA at the end of the day, getting stacks is super good. Definitely don't want to get caught out again. But you've been farming. You haven't been making any sort of rotation. Obviously, you made the one bottom, but you really didn't get anything out of that. You couldn't save your Jakiro. You're a little bit behind. And the Storm has just completely controlled all of the runes. I mean, you might think that he's lucky, but since if you get every single one over the course of the game, I mean, he's gotten 8, right? Eventually, he's going to start getting those DDs. He's going to get those other, you know what I mean, like the super good ones for him, and like the haste and whatnot. But more farming from you. The Storm, oh man. Ricky's now here, gets the smoke screen on up, and yeah, that's a little bit late. The Death Ward is going to secure that one, and Ricky will probably fall on this one as well. I don't know why he TP'd on there, going in against, you know, the Storm and the Witch Doctor at that point. But yeah, so you've been completely zoned out. You've lost the bottom lane, and it's looking like he's going to pay for that one. Now, this comes back to you not being able to snowball, not being able to get the right amount of farm early. Like, if you're looking at it, you're very, very behind, right? You've died a couple times at this point. You've died 3 times, excuse me. Whereas the Storm has just been making plays. 8-1-1, right? So just reverse positions, reverse everything. Like, if you were the Storm, like, that's how you're snowballing. That's how you're doing things well, right? Whereas you're kind of, like, trying to make things happen, and now you're behind, and TA actually doesn't play well from behind, right? So how do you get back into this game, right? Mithril Hammer probably swapping with the Iron Branch. That would help for one. Do more damage. You'll push his lane a lot faster. Then you can jump into the next lane faster, right? Like, these little things, I'm seeing a little bit of your inventory management needs work, right? You're gonna pick that up? Imclaw? That's pretty good. Do you notice this? Like, even the Mango gives you value as opposed to the Sentry, right? At least you're getting some sort of passive ability, some sort of, you know, some stat, right? Which would help you in the end. Not having your 1,600 gold at this point, which is almost, what? A third of your net worth, right? It helps you. Obviously, anybody who wants to fight you, you have it instantly. Now you don't have to wait 6 seconds. So I feel like there's a couple moments where even the Blightstone, I talked about that earlier, 45 seconds of not being in your backpack. And now the Mithril Hammer, which is, I think, going on a minute now. Another reason, right? So what are you going to do? Are you just going to bounce between these two until you get your Desolator? Okay, so it's looking that way, actually. But you actually let these 3 creeps go. And then now is the time where I think that even with the Mithril Hammer, you can probably start stacking these things. I mean, you should have been stacking throughout the entire game, or gotten your support to do it, but you definitely could have stacked them, or sorry, killed these stacks, and really driven up the speed of your farming efficiency, right? Like, I feel like Desolator at this point, yeah, you'll get it probably, you know, you're going to get in the next minute or so, but how are you doing this? You're not able to... Look at you. You're wasting so much time with just your inventory. Okay, now you realize, oh shit, I had a Mithril Hammer. Okay, so you made that swap in. That took a little bit of time. But you're probably going to get in the next minute or so. Trap. That should secure for that. And your Ricky's been struggling, right? This level 10 at 20 minutes almost has been having a rough time. And you should get your Desolator, but I felt like, okay, you've already gotten the T1, which is great, but I don't think you got the last hit. I think your Ricky did that. Or just your creeps did. But what else are you going to do? Alright, like, this is the biggest teller. Like, you need to buy this instantly, get your Desolator, that's a power spike. Make something happen, right? Like, the fact that you're not buying things, yeah. he did.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
But you're not buying things right when they come on ban. Like, right when you have the money, you need to buy the Desolator. Go. Get it in and get it delivered to you as soon as possible, so that, you know, now is the time you can start turning around. This is a pretty big power spike for TA. Yes, you're top of the net worth of your team, which isn't very high if you think about it. But if you're grouping up as 5, you're able to make some sort of pressure moves. Maybe you get, you know, the Team 1 is obviously taking mid. But you need to start creating space elsewhere, right? If Ricky's not going to play the farming style Ricky, then you and him, which in my opinion is actually, thinking about it, is actually a really bad draft, because you're kind of the same, one and the same, right? Like, Dust like counters you both. If you have sentries up, it kind of screws you both. But yeah, you're kind of squishy at the end of the day, right? So you're gonna go Orchid up next. I kind of disagree with this item. I think that you need to stop the Storm, the Earthshaker types, right? You need to get up on them, you need to blow them up, right? And Orchid, while, yeah, you silence them or whatever, but you're so vulnerable to everything else. If you get rooted, you get cast, I mean, Chrono's gonna happen, regardless, but I think Orchid is the wrong play. I think itemization, you probably need BKB. And that's a nice Chrono, catches on through, single, that's not much, and this will look to turn into a T1 mid. It's going to be a push on there, and man, Earthshaker don't care. Earthshaker looks like he's going, I actually don't know, just the wizardry there, but he's looking to just kind of farm up some runes by the shovel. He's going to look to push the bottom lane. Faceless Void almost has MKB, which is pretty huge at this point, and wow, he's got Kaya already, Orchid. Yeah, this Storm is starting to get a little out of control. He's been creating a lot of space. The Witch Doctor, on the other hand, already has Glimmer, so is your team prepared, right? Like, yeah, you got a Slaughter, you can probably do the Corrosive Haze, but not everybody has, you know, is able to cast that at all times, right? Even your Ricky, if you're going to look to get some sort of gank off, you definitely need to start carrying some Dust. You cannot rely on your supports to have the right amount of vision there, so definitely keep that in mind. You have a sentry up. Okay, I prefer Dust at this point, but you've had those sentries for a long time. You spent a lot of money on consumables. I think that's the first 10, 15 minutes. I think you wasted a lot of money. So some things to know. So now it looks like a little bit of action in the top lane. A nice avalanche there. The toss off forward, and that should be a dead Underlord. Okay, Underlord right now. You got Mech. You almost got Greaves, and you got Pipe, which is pretty good. But I don't think you can really one-on-one anybody. I think that even with the Slaughter, like with Vlad's, like Medallion of Courage, you really can't fight this guy. I think he just needs to know. So he probably should have Dark Rifted on out, probably pushed another lane, or, you know, just TP'd on back, whatever. Obviously not TP, sorry, Dark Rift back, because there's no way to stop the amount of stuns that Slaughter has. Witch Doctor is showing here. And if you're looking at it, while this Earthshaker is a bit of a fail in the sense that he's not carrying any Dust, Storm, if you want to start making some ganks, you got to carry some Dust as well. You need some detection as well. And it looks like Witch Doctor is really the only one who's prepared for this kind of stuff. And MKB on Void, Chrono's going to be up in 23 seconds, right? So when you saw the last time the Chrono on the Slaughter, right, did anyone take a timestamp of that so that we kind of understand when the Chrono's going to be up next? And that was a blind Pit of Malice there. Just zoning, I guess. But yeah. And Storm just getting another gank in the mid lane, and that's against your Ricky, and he's having a rough time. What can they get out of this? The Fisher as well. The Death Ward is on the top side of that, but he's going to be out of that. Storm is now in position. They do have the meld. Yeah, meld doesn't really work. Ooh, that Chrono actually caught in the Storm, and that's going to be a 2-man. It's going to be pretty much a team wipe. And Tiny is just like, I'm just going to run for the hills, and I'm out of here. I got Blink. Okay. TA, the meld strike works, but only if you're, I would say, like, if the teams are prepared, you're going to have a bad time, right? Invisibility does not equal invincibility. So just, like, when you're trying to make the gank, you got to go all in. You got to get the, got to kill Witch Doctor. If it's not going to happen, you got to full out retreat. Right, like right now, I feel like you're not strong enough to really make any plays because you're literally just walking up to people trying to get into range of the Desolate. Right, you don't have Blink yet, and that's a little bit of an issue here. But your Ricky and you are really not strong enough to make any sort of action right now. Like Tiny might be able to blink in, get a nice toss, throw somebody into you, but trying to do that aggressively when everybody was literally right here, and you could kind of see that. I felt like your team fight was kind of all over the place. Like your team was not really coordinated. And the delivery, the Uber driver sends them back to the fountain. Okay.
Haste.
Storm here has a haste. Is he going to make something out of this? But look at the map. Right?
Stupendous.
Like I think map control, like you're down, you don't have a T2 top. And you're stuck to just the middle and the bottom one, right? And they can start taking outposts. This is starting to be an issue because you're not going to really have space. And Ricky right now is so far behind. I mean, he only has a defusal, but he's been farming, right? Like Ricky is the type where you're going to have to, play a little bit faster, so to speak. You got to get out of the jungle. You got to start making plays. You got to start ganking. You got to figure things out. Yeah. Yeah, invisibility does equal invincibility at times, but definitely not at this level, right? Oh, he's near. Doesn't have Chrono. He's going to get backed up on that one. The Witch Doctor a little bit out of position. All he wants to do is just ward, or probably de-ward at that point, but... So Greaves on here, and then this Underlord is going straight up tank. I'm going to get Crimson up next. I'm cool with that. I think Underlord's pretty strong at 7.27C. But this guy is Earthshaker. I feel like a lot of it comes down to what is he going to get. Like, he's got Yules on up here. I think Force is probably the better call. Because you need to deal with the Ricky, who's eventually going to get a nice smoke on somebody, right? And being able to force him out, force yourself out, probably would do better than a Yules. I mean, you can save yourself, of course, but I don't know. I think that this is a judgment call. I prefer Force. I like the movement. Yules, yeah, buys you a little bit of time, but at the end of the day, you're going to be right back into place, so to speak. So, Faceless Void, once this guy gets BKB, this will be a problem for you guys because of the amount of control that you have. Obviously, the stuns, the Tiny, the Jakiro, the Slaughter, all these bashes and stuff like that are going to struggle. And your Slaughter, you need to kind of... Okay, so you have Orchid now. Okay, I discussed the fact that, like, I don't like this item, but... I think you need BKB. I think BKB would have probably gone a longer way. And here you get zipped on. You got BKB? What are you going to do? Yeah, you just try to meld yourself, and yeah. Oop. Yeah, you're dead. Okay. Like, you have no way to fight if you get jumped on like that, right? If you have BKB, you give yourself a chance, but now this Storm is just going to kind of control things, and it's looking bad, right? This is like the snowball effect. I think that, this will be a very clinical game because it seems like this Storm has been on point, and a nice call here in terms of taking Roche. Should be very, very easy. I don't like the fact that everybody's grouped around it. I feel like, Void probably should pull it back a little bit further so that, the range guys don't get hit by his stomp, but nonetheless, he's been silenced, and I feel bad for Roche. This is what it's like to be in prison. Okay, so Jakiro here does have Greaves. Don't like that item. Obviously, sustaining and all that stuff in the heal, but you need some sort of control as a support. This Tiny, obviously, like, how are you going to save your guys if they get jumped on? If the Storm gets jumped on, like, jumps on you, like, is your Greaves really going to save that guy? Probably not, right? But, man, yeah, Storm. This Storm has been on point. His itemization has been super good. Bloodstone already, DD in his pocket, and he's just been so patient. He's been... Like, he's been the pressure making Storm that you kind of want on your team, right? As I say that, he DCs. Let me just fast forward this a little bit because we don't give a fuck. All right, we'll just get on out of this. Go. Okay. So yeah, they're just happily farming in your... Wow, and he's just gonna chrono up and turn on? Yeah, you're gonna go for him? Like, you can't even out man fight this guy. Plus the fact that he had Aegis, so that's super risky, right? Like, you know that their team is nearby. You know that Storm can get up on you at any moment. So trying to take that fight is risky. What you need to do is understand how strong you actually are, which, to be honest, obviously you're the strongest on your team, which doesn't say much because your team is losing. What you need to be doing, is split pushing, creating space in other ways, right? If they're all bottom here and you can see these two heroes, then you should probably be top, pushing this one out, creating pressure so that this tower is taking damage, because somebody at the end of the day is going to TP there, right? And if it's somebody's TP top, then you know that there's only 4 guys bottom, right? It's a numbers game, right? If you outnumber the guy, even in basketball, if you play 5v4, you have an advantage. It's the same thing. Yes, they might have more items. Yes, they might be stronger. And Storm is top, and this is why you guys are probably fighting here. Although I'm not a huge fan of defending a T2 tower. I feel like their worth is really not that high. But here's another thing, is that you're kind of... The refraction shield was... Okay, hang on. Let's see. Pit of Malice gets on stuck through. Yeah, you got killed again. Okay. If you're going to be out here in the open, you need to play around this cooldown. This is a cooldown of 17 seconds. Okay? So whenever you're risking anything, you're slightly out in the open, you need to have refraction shield up. I don't even feel safe until like the cooldown is less than like 8 or so seconds. Meaning that if the fight does happen, I have the refraction shield, and then hopefully I survive long enough, at least for 8 seconds, that I can cast it again. Second thing is that if you have BKB and you refraction shield up, obviously that changes things. You can actually fight, right? Because you get literally zipped in on, you get pulled on back by the Storm. Oh, this side. Oh, you have a chance. And now this Ricky's gonna die for that. The dust. But basically you have a chance to fight. You can't fight any of these guys because of the amount of magic control that they have. And I say this a lot on my stream, but if you're ever gonna go core, okay, you need to go offensive item, defensive item. Unless you're snowballing like crazy, and then maybe 2 offensive items first. But other than that, generally speaking, you should always go offensive item, defensive item, okay? The reason being is that you need to think of yourself as protecting yourself as a core. This is the most important thing, is how do I survive? How do I die less? You've died 7 times already. This is actually quite a lot. You didn't really make enough happen. You've got 1 kill to your name and 0 assists. So literally, you killed that 1 Storm in the beginning, and then that was pretty much the extent of it, right? So, like, and this is, again, an issue with TA, is that if you're not the most efficient snowballing hero, you're going to have games like this. Because TA, she's very squishy, and she struggles to come back from behind, okay? So, I hope you learn at least that piece. Oh my gosh, they're going to get the... Okay, Aegis is pops, but Ricky will probably die for this. He does a basher. Tricks the tray, trying to keep himself up. He's been away. There's no other secondary dust. No Storm, but everybody gets away on that. It's 4 for nothing so far, and this is looking really bad, right? Storm is in your base. He don't care. And he's also got Mindbreaker, right? Which means it's almost impossible for you to get Refraction Shield on. Like, he has enough right now with his Electric Vortex and all that just to kind of stun lock you. And this Void is, yeah, a little too far up. His teammates were not nearby, so that will probably be the end of this one. Okay. I mean, I'm not the... I think it really comes down to draft for you, because I think the TA and the Ricky are too similar. Also, I'm not a huge fan of this. Like, he seems to, especially early, he seemed to have wanted to just farm, right? And his Ricky, you kind of want that first big item, probably a Diffusal, which I'm okay with, to then, once you get the fast Diffusal, then you start making your presence known and you start getting the ganks off on, like, the Storms and all that stuff, right? But he had a really bad lane. And to be honest, we didn't see too much of the first 10 minutes, so I can't really comment on what happened. But obviously the pit lord, or the underlord, excuse me, just kind of dominated that lane and made it. You know, he had to leave the lane very early, which is a problem, right? And so how do you come back into the games? And Ricky is again one of those type of heroes which isn't great to kind of catch back up in. All right, so right now it looks like they're just kind of baiting, waiting a little bit. I mean, they don't have to rush it. They're so far ahead, the Dire can kind of just slowly choke you out. Wait for Roshan to be up. Storm just doesn't really care. Zips on in, and he does have Hex, but you get a nice smoke. Oh my gosh, Ricky. Come on, man. Ricky with the Slaughter there. That was a wasted opportunity. Like, his game sense is right on point, right? Like, he's just realizing that, and he's like, oh shit, they're probably on me. Like, if that smoke happened and you got the right one with Ricky, you probably would have at least killed the Roche, or sorry, at least killed Storm there. But yeah, my God, this Earthshaker, like, he's not. Now we gotta blink. Like, after the plate mail, like, what? Like, this guy's trash, man. Your build is trash, man. Okay, so BKB, how many charges? 9 seconds left on that. It's gonna go Mjolnir up next. Why not? And as Gem, yeah, this guy's like a super tank, right? He's only got 2,000 life though. I mean, if you're just comparing, right? Not the highest, so to speak, but nonetheless, he's going to be tanky enough, especially with his trophy, aura, and all that. And he's taking away more vision. And it looks like they just kind of choke you out. They don't really give you much space to breathe. And it looks like this is going to be the last hurrah, as this is the last set of racks here. He does have Chrono up and the smoke there. Okay, interesting. Yeah, if there's ever time to go, now would be the time, especially since you have a Jakiro and a Ricky in the top lane. And you saw that Ricky was there as a Dire, so you can make the play. You can go on in on this. Echo is being used. It doesn't really matter. The Chrono will just kind of lock everybody into place, and that's pretty much all she wrote, right? Like, Jakiro, don't give a fuck. You know, he's got a Kaya. Like, fuck the team. Don't need Force. I don't need, you know, Yules. I don't need Glimmer. I don't need anything to save the guys. I just need to farm myself. But, I mean, I think this game was just so far gone that, you know, he just protecting his KDA at this point. But that's pretty much all she wrote. I think that there was definitely some things that you could have done, at least in the laning phase, to kind of give yourself a little bit of a head start. And you got to work on efficiency. Mechanical, right? I don't feel like... I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel like you know how to play TA, but you don't know how to play in a losing game, in a potentially hard matchup, right? And even the Storm found the Jakiro, who's just happily farming on that other end. Ricky just trying to just do something, right? But it don't really matter. Just go on the Ancients, go creeps, go. And that will be the end of it. Slaughter gets tossed on out, just to disrespect. 38-13, 37 minutes, very quick game. And we just kind of saw how powerful a good space-owning, control-oriented Storm was. And mind you, that there's no way that this guy is... What is this, a Crusader? There's no way that this guy's a Crusader. Yeah, this is definitely a Smurf. I would say that this... if there's anything on this one, like, I don't know if you're actually, you know, this is your actual main account, but there's no way that this Storm is. Like, yes, I definitely see him, like, as a Herald or whatever he is. Just his itemization just seemed really off. Void, again, I think that this is a Smurf as well. So I wouldn't be too discouraged, especially if you're going up against, you know, Smurfs like this. But just a couple things to just kind of make yourself a little bit more efficient. Obviously, you'll rise. I think that you're definitely better than a Crusader here, but this is just a bad lineup, bad player. You know, there's no way that this guy is not a Smurf. Okay, so I hope you learned something. I do this game analysis on my Twitch, and of course I put it up on YouTube. Please give me a follow and a subscribe. My name is Holler. You can find me on Holler TV. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll catch you guys next time.